Hey, welcome to Cardboard in the Rough. I'm Justin, and today I want to take a look back at my games in 2024. What I played, what I enjoyed. So I track my board game plays in BG Stats, link down below. And according to that, I had 55 plays over 29 games, which is the fewest number of games that I have played in a very long time. And that is likely due to what you might be able to hear in the background, my 3-month-old daughter. So a lot of this year has been spent redoing parts of our house and preparing for her. So that's also why my co-host Corey, who is usually here with me, is not. She's in there talking to our daughter and getting her ready for bed. Let's hit some different categories relating to games that I played. Most of them are not going to be games that came out in 2024. I'm sorry to disappoint, but mostly I played slightly older games. In fact, only one on the list is. I'm only doing one category from 2024 because I only played a couple of games that came out this past year. So let's start. Yeah, let's start with that one, actually. Game that came out in 2024 that I enjoyed the most of the ones that I played, which is not a whole lot. Lord of the Rings Duel. So this game, Duel for Middle Earth, if you want the full title, Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle Earth, is a sort of re-implementation of Seven Wonders Duel. And that was already one of our favorite games. We really enjoy two-player games. That's primarily what we play, Corey and I. And this one, it's a good re-implementation. I think it changes a few things that I didn't know I disliked. Disliked is too strong a word. I didn't know I had a preference for something other than that in the first version of this. So there's, if you're unfamiliar with Seven Wonders Duel, there are multiple victory conditions, as in this one, and if you fulfill any one of the three conditions, you can win immediately. So this one exchanges a tug-of-war game in the first version for a little area control game, and then turns part of the game into like a race to collect enough points of a certain symbol. I think even though it doesn't use the same symbols, because if you played Seven Wonders, you can pick up and play Seven Wonders Duel almost without reading the rules because the symbols are all the same. This one, I was a little afraid that with new symbols, it would have a learning curve, but it really wasn't that bad. And we played this quite a few times so far. We're going to keep it on rotation, especially with a baby. This doesn't have any cards that you have to hold. Plays in about 30 minutes, and it's 2-player. Works. It's only 2-player, so but anything that works at 2-player, that's what we shoot for right now. Great game. Highly recommend. All right, next category. My favorite game that I played in 2024. And that one, hands down, is Blood on the Clocktower. I think I only got 4 games of Blood on the Clocktower in. And that is because you have to have a lot of people to play this. And it's best if you have a whole lot of people. 12 to 15 is ideal. And so this, we played mostly in August. So we do an alternative to Gen Con because the last few years, none of us in my friend group have been able to make it to Gen Con. And so instead, around that time, we host our own little friends-only convention here at my house, and we play the big games that we normally wouldn't get to play at just a regular game night. Make an extended weekend out of it, and so Blood on the Clocktower always hits the table a few times. Then we also did a New Year's Eve game. That was a lot of fun. If you are unfamiliar with Blood on the Clocktower, it is a social deduction and deception game. There are two teams and sort of a moderator that tries to keep the game balanced. And one team are good townsfolk and some outsiders that sort of hinder the progress of the good team, and an evil team that is a demon and some minions. And both teams are trying to kill off the other team. You have to figure out who they are. The evil team are pretending to be good people, and the good people may be pretending to be people who they are not. Unlike some of the other social deduction games, because it's not my favorite category of game, but I do love this one. This has, aside from the moderator who helps balance it out, this has some plausible deniability. So everyone has a different role, and the roles gain information or have different powers that can affect the world, but you may not even be getting the correct information from the storyteller, because there's some mechanics that allow the storyteller to lie to you about what's going on. And so what you think is going on may not actually be going on. And apply that to everyone in the entire game. And there's some wild, crazy times with that. Lots of very memorable gaming moments. Probably the most memorable gaming moments that we've had have been with this game. So cannot recommend this enough. Next category. My favorite game that was new to me in 2024. That's going to be QE. QE stands for quantitative easing, and this sounds really dry. This is it's a game about the 2008 financial crisis and businesses being too big to fail and governments bailing them out. So you play as the governments buying up businesses in different sectors, and you have sort of some set collection ways to get points. The two interesting things that I like about this game, one is that you can pay any amount of money. You are a government, you can literally print money. So you just write however much you want to bid on a token, and you turn it in. It's a secret bid, so everyone's bidding in secret, passes it in, and then whoever bid the most wins that business, and you collect the businesses, get some points. The trick to the whole thing, though, whoever spends the most money out of everyone is eliminated from the chance at winning. So it's a game where you are more or less trying to not come in first place, because almost inevitably the person who spends the most money would be in first place, because they have probably collected the most businesses. And so you are more or less trying to shoot for that second place spot. And I haven't seen another game that does that. And this one is a lot of fun. This is almost a party game. It sounds incredibly dry from the theme, but in practice, this is just a very fun, light game. So 30 minutes, 3 to 5 players. Good game. Highly recommend. The game that we played the most would be Everdell. Everdell is incredibly cute and stays in our rotation. It's a fun game to introduce people to, even though it's a bit advanced, I would say, for a tableau builder, because you have such a limited number of actions. So it really focuses on needing to chain things together to be able to get more actions and keep taking turns. And if you're unaware of that, like the first time you play, if you are somewhat new to board gaming, you may not win. You'll probably still have a good time, though. I mean, this is such a beautifully illustrated game. I think it would still be fun, even if you didn't know what you were doing. But this is a game that stays good. The more you play it, the more you learn. Some games get worse the more you play them, and the novelty wears off. This one, for us, has not. And so we love Everdell. Okay. Next, a game that I wish we had played more and been able to get to the table more. Irish Gauge. This is part of the Iron Rail series, which is sort of a light introduction to train games. I have not played any heavier train games. This is as far as I've gotten down that path, though I have Shikoku 1889 sitting on my shelf over there as soon as I can convince one of my friends to play it with me. So I played, prior to this, Northern Pacific, which is a very, very easy introduction. Almost can't call it a train game, but it's very quick. I also like Northern Pacific, and that led me to looking at, hey, what's the next step? And that would be Irish Gauge. And I think this is probably, it's accessible, even if you haven't played a ton of board games. It's a quick game, about an hour, 3 to 5 players, which is why it hasn't hit our table as often as I would like, because, like I said, we mostly do 2-player. Yeah, Irish Gauge, you, if you aren't familiar with train games, you, in these games, are building up rail companies and buying shares in these companies and working competitively with some tentative alliances, especially in this one. I can't say for sure because I haven't played many others to compare it to, but with this one, you have to balance buying shares and advancing the interest that you have. And the choice that you have to make very frequently on your turn is, does this action benefit me or hurt my opponent, but this action is going to help both me and this other person. I think they're ahead of me. Is it going to benefit me more than it's going to benefit them? Those kinds of questions, which is really interesting. And there's a lot of fun table talk and smack talk. And this is, there's a lot of player interaction in this. And the longer I play board games, the more I appreciate high player interaction games. And this is not a highly random game either. There's a little bit of randomness. So most in the 18xx series of games are 0 randomness. So if you play the game and you make the same moves and everyone else makes the same moves, you will have exactly the same outcome. But this one, there are some cubes that determine which companies are paying out when someone calls for dividends. And I don't think it's so much luck that it ruins the game or anything. I think it makes it more accessible to people who maybe aren't looking for the full train game experience. But anyway, I recommend checking that one out. Okay. Next, I'm going to call it the hidden gem that I found in 2024. And that is going to be Night Forest. This is almost more of an experience than a game. And like I mentioned, we have our own little convention, Gen Con alternative, in August. And so we got the chance. We've only played this once. And we got the chance to do that in August. And so this game, you get a candle. I think we got some different candles because we didn't want people melting wax all over their hands and stuff. But it does come with candles. And you get a card from this beautifully illustrated deck of cards. Each card has a picture and a word. And in this, they call it a ritual game on the package. So I'm going to say it's a game. In this game, you light your candle. Everyone lights their candles, and then you scatter with a card. And you think about some memory of your life that involves that word or that picture in some way. And then you wander until you meet someone else. You exchange stories about the memories that you've had. Then you trade cards and you wander away. And you repeat this until you see a card that you've seen before, at which point you blow out your candle and you just find the nearest person with a lit candle and you keep following them and listen to their stories. So especially with a group of friends, this was just a beautiful experience. I got to know my friends in some of their stories that that would have never come up otherwise, and I could see this being good as an icebreaker for people who don't know each other very well at all, or if you have been friends with people for a very long time and you just want to hang out and talk about things, but it doesn't come up organically. This is a really good way of doing it, and it's the best way that I've seen of doing an icebreaker game like that. And caveat, some of the people in our group, they did say they probably wouldn't do it again because it made them feel too vulnerable, I guess, and it wasn't an experience for them. So it's not for everyone, but they did enjoy it. Everyone that played, they just may not do it again. I think a lot of our friends would. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, check it out. I'll link it down below. I'll link all these down below. Okay, that's all I have on my table, but I want to talk about a few more things. So, a game from 2024 that I missed, specifically the one that I wanted to play the most and did not get a chance, and that's Arcs. Everything else that I have played from Cole Wehrle, I have really enjoyed. Oath and Root are some of my favorites, and so I really, really wanted to play Arcs, and I did not get a chance. Hopefully, I will get to do that sometime this year. And the game I am most looking forward to in 2025, that's coming out this year, that would be Everdell Duo. As I mentioned, Everdell is always in our rotation, so I'm interested in a 2-player specific version. I like that it has a co-op mode and a competitive mode, and except for the few cards that we will have to hold, it does tick the other boxes of, hey, we have a baby, we don't have a ton of time or space for games right now. So that I think it will be good for our shelf, most specifically. There are some other games that I'm also really interested in that are coming out this year, but for us, in our collection, I think that's the one that I probably won't add a ton of games this year, but that one's on the list. Okay, so last thing, I want to talk about some goals and where the channel's going in 2025, and some things that I want to do board game related. One, I want to do more videos. We've been really inconsistent with videos in the past, so I want to shoot for at least 2 videos a month. I don't think that is outside the realm of possibility, but both of us have full-time jobs and we now have a baby. It's kind of tough to do that. It's hard enough finding time to play games, much less record and edit videos. But we're going to shoot for it. And I want to also get a more regular game night going. Our game nights have been really sporadic, and this may mean finding new groups to play with, meeting new people, and that's fine. That also may be later in the year once our daughter is slightly older and we may or may not have more free time. We'll find out. I want to do at least one, but hopefully 2 or 3 5x5 challenges. Now, we've done these in the past, and we usually do them for 1 month, where we play 5 different games 5 times each within the span of a month. And I think that's going to be kind of rough right now, but we have some specific criteria that we want to meet with the games that we choose for this 5x5. So, one, we want to do an unplayed game, just probably something from our shelf of shame or pile of potential, as one of my friends called it. A perennial favorite, something like Everdell, Terra Mystica, Ish, any of those. Something that we already know that we love, that we've played dozens of times, and just keep that going. 3, I want to do a campaign game and actually get into them. We have several campaign games that we either haven't started or haven't finished, and so I want to get through more of those. 4, we have this, I think, is the majority of my collection, games that I'm on the fence about or are underplayed. Things that I enjoy, but not enough to drag them off the shelf over other games. And so maybe I've played them 2 or 3 times, but not enough to really dig into them. And I want to dig into some of those some more. And then last, second chance games. I have a pile of games that I want to get rid of, but all of them are going to get a second chance, either at some different player counts or just playing them some more. Some of them I have only played once, and they left a bad taste in my mouth. I didn't like them for some reason. So, I want to give one of those another chance where I play it 5 times, and if I still absolutely don't like it at the end of 5, it will be leaving. So that's what I've got going on, and I hope that all of you have a wonderful 2025, and I hope to see you around. If you enjoy this kind of content, again, please like and subscribe. It will really help out our channel. So we'll see you next time. Thanks.